Three, two, one. This is Radio Free Cybertron, episode 750. I am Brian Kilby. This episode is polybagged with a chromium cover and a trading card. Wait, no trading cards. 3D glasses.
Can it be a Mr. T trading card?
Could be. Maybe a hologram. I miss holograms and crap on comics that, made a comic cost like $55. Yeah, no. Diecast. So we just wrapped up pre-show, and if you're a patron at patreon.com/tfradio, you get pre-show as a podcast, or you could watch live at tfradio.net/live, or subscribe on YouTube and do that every Wednesday. But Diecast is going to ask a question, so I'm going to let Diecast do that now.
Oh, awesome. Well, this ties into something that I got this week, so I'll grab that real quick.
So that was Diecast who's grabbing something. Don spoke.
And we'll go a little off out of order here.
That's fine.
I got Shattered Glass Autobot Gold Bug from Hasbro Toy Shop.
Yes.
Or Hasbro Pulse. I'm sorry. Wow, going old school there. But my question was, weren't we supposed to get Megatron first?
Well, it's possible with that gold bug. Again, I'm thinking about this as I go, so I apologize if it sounds stupid. The Bumblebee in the Buzzworthy Bumblebee set, is that the same mold, Chris? Could they have run that at the same time they were doing the Bumblebees?
Same mold, different head. Megatron's getting charged from Pulse right now. I got charged last night for it. And I think Night Sword was saying, that they're charging cards for Shattered Glass Megatron. Too. So, it's technically out of sequence based on when they were revealed to us, but it's, all in the works now. I think Shattered Glass Megatron had been delayed once, so that probably was supposed. Yeah, a little bit. Also, hi, I'm Chris.
And there's Matt, who's fresh back from TFCon, and Rob.
Hi.
Actually, how was TFCon?
It was good. For me, it seemed like there was more attendees than normal.
That's amazing.
There was less people, less dealers in the dealer room as normal. Like, it didn't seem like
so there are fewer dealers than you normally have, but more people otherwise.
Yes.
Did that create an issue with people trying to buy stuff?
I mean, no. I mean, there just wasn't as much of a selection. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a good selection, but it wasn't as much as some of the previous TFcons. Or maybe the room was just bigger and everyone was spaced out more. I mean, it just seemed like I know Agabus didn't show up. There was a couple of the big sellers that weren't there. TF Source was there. Chosen Prime was there. Toy Dojo and 3A or ages 3 and up, they were there. So they had a couple of the big ones, but it just seemed like they had room for a lot more vendors than it actually had in the room. But they had plenty of voice actors, like Greg Berger was there, Bob Budiansky. I'm trying to think who else was there. There was a bunch of people there as far as voice actors go. So that was like the normal amount. It just seemed like to me there weren't as many vendors as normal.
Matt dropped from the call, but I think he had a great time, it sounds like, and he discovered the screwdriver. I have my Swiss Army knife here, one of them, and it's got a screwdriver on it, so I've always been a fan of the screwdriver, but Matt apparently just learned about them.
Diecast, did they have any other unannounced exclusives other than the New Age recolored Megatron?
The New Age, no, that was it. That and the Rung, which was basically just the MMC Rung, which is basically just an early release.
Yeah, I remember they did that. The last TFCon I was at, they had a couple of like limited quantity of those early figures. Like I think the Starscream. No, that was the clear Starscream. It was one after that.
Is that a selling point for TFCon? Do people actually care about the exclusives? I mean, I'm not saying people don't want them, but is that a reason people go.
Well, for Rung particularly, that kind of thing could be, because I think otherwise it's a Planet Steel Express store exclusive. So to get it in the US without, shipping from Hong Kong and everything that entails at this point, that's maybe not your only option, because there will be like gray imports of that if you want to, ascribe that much credibility to the whole process. But, for official sales of it in the US, TFCon was it.
And I think there's been a couple of TFCon exclusives in the past, like the Bulkhead that they did from their Striker mold for Mastermind, and a couple other ones that, like the G2 Starscream and the G2 Jazz, and what I got last year or year before last was the G2 Mirage they did. I think everybody's just like, it's a lot of FOMO involved, and if you go and you don't get it, you're not probably going to see one for less than double of what it was.
So in the chat, YouTube chat, Catherine Klein is making perfect sense here, saying that the room is expanded to allow for social distancing, which, that would make it look more vacant, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're mentioning like vendors, and I've never gone and counted how many there are, but it's not like TFCon has like 1,000 vendors. So spread out like that, certainly it probably would seem, different. So, but yeah, that's cool. Yeah, let's see here. Matt's coming back. We'll see what Matt's thoughts were.
I was surprised while we're waiting for Matt. I'm surprised that there was as many third-party reveals as there were. I mean, a lot of them were fans' toys, and we probably won't see those for 4 or 5 years, but at least we saw something new.
Fans' toy and the fans' toy.
So Matt, what other than the screwdriver, what was your favorite part of TFCon?
I mean, I was just glad to be back at TFCon. It was absolutely amazing. So the dealer room in this hotel is cavernous. It is freaking huge. And I guess, because of, what's currently going on, there weren't as many dealers there as normal, so there was a lot of empty space. Everything was spread out in the dealer room.
So is it empty? So in the chat, someone suggested that it was intentionally set up that way for social distancing, since it was so cavernous.
I'm sure that was part of it as well, but like it wasn't as cramped and as it had been in previous years. So that was nice. There was still the problem with at one point Gary Chalk's attendance line effectively cut the dealer room completely in half. That was taken care of rather quickly though. But I mean, it was nice to be back in the dealer room. It was nice to, run into people that I haven't seen in 2 years.
The photos that you shared with everybody wearing a mask and everything, I'm like, holy crap, I should have gone.
Oh, it was so wonderful. Like, it was just, because I was nervous going into it, but I mean, it just immediately put you at ease.
Yeah, so. That's great.
I'm very proud of our fandom today to hear that everybody was actually being responsible with their social gathering protocols. Yeah,
and I only personally saw Colin tell one person to put on a mask, and there was no complaints. They just did it. So
that's great. That's great.
Good stuff.
That's awesome. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So TFCon happened. PulseCon happened as well.
Yeah, Brian, how was your PulseCon experience this weekend?
Yeah. So the fan wall. I'm not gonna poop all over it, but so this is the second time they did the fan wall. The first time was at FanFest. And it took more work to manage what they did at FanFest. They had breakout rooms per brand where you were in a room conference like this, talking to people, and you had a producer person who was telling you, hey, when you're gonna go live and such. And it was done. Did you not see the thing about how that comes through the call?
No, I didn't. Sorry.
Okay, so just as a heads up, you're fine. So So yeah, Fan Fest, it was awesome. Breakout rooms, whatever. You knew exactly what was going on. In the email instructions that I got for this was like, hey, show up around 11:50, which is about the time I had to show up for Fan Fest. But I got there and it was just one big chat. And I only saw my video. I had no idea, if anybody else had their video on or whatever. And you couldn't tell who was who because you just got like the first letter of their name as an icon and then nothing else. You had to hover over it to see who was who. And I realized it was intermingled. The people were chatting with each other. I didn't have any clue if I was in like the video room where I would get on the wall or not. And so 2 or 3 times during the Power Rangers panel, which is what came up first, I got up to go to the bathroom like 2 or 3 times. So I just flipped my camera up and walked away. And a couple times I came back and I was booted. And I had no idea what was going on. And during the Transformers presentation, they flipped to video of people. And Kevin Lucas was there, and like Ryan from Cybertron was there, but it was like Power Rangers fans and such. And I was a little short. I'm like, I came here to get on the thing for the Transformers. Nobody's telling me anything. Nobody is telling me when this is recording. Like this is completely disorganized, and they're like, well, hey, you can stick around and be on. I'm like, nah, I'm like, have fun, Star Wars fans. I'm not. I've got to get back to work. So, yeah, I just walked away. I think it was Night Sword on Twitter pointed out that, Brian, isn't that your ceiling on the fan wall?
Somebody pointed it out in our Discord too,
Yeah.
while that was going on. I don't remember who.
Apparently, they recorded me, or recorded it while I was gone to the bathroom when my camera flipped up. And that was during the Power Rangers panel. And it got aired during a later segment, whatever came after Transformers. And I had no idea it was being recorded. It was just a mess. It was a mess. But, otherwise, I liked the Transformers presentation. I loved Saturday's G.I. Joe presentation. But the actual fan wall part was, there were some opportunities, as we said last week. Yeah. But hey, my ceiling got on the fan wall.
Fan
So,
ceiling.
Yeah, he beat me to it.
Yeah.
Brian's ceiling's more famous to Brian.
Yep. That's exactly right.
To
I wonder
Brian's
if they in
ceiling,
Don's
it was
kitchen hang
Tuesday.
out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey. So the Pulse, I forgot all this stuff. We found out that the Breaking Benjamin guy has Transformers tattoos on his fingers. That's cute. Transformers finger tattoos. So, he doesn't have a Unicron on his chest like Diecast is just showing off. And, if you have a Transformers tattoo, that's great.
It's awesome.
That's awesome. I don't care so much about tattoos, but if I was going to get a tattoo, and as much as I love Transformers, it wouldn't be a Transformers tattoo. So, like my buddy Bob was once showing me, hey, look at my Transformers tattoo. I'm like, I don't care, Bob. And he was going at BotCon showing people his Transformers tattoo. I'm like, plenty of people here have those. And I'm pretty sure at one time he tried to show Raksha his Autobot tattoo. I think it's an Autobot tattoo, which is not the right audience, one. And, she didn't care, too. Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, so, hey, that was his segment interminable? I can't remember. He didn't go on forever, did he?
So not like that one segment during Pulse Fan Fest. No.
Oh yeah. The guy from Black Eyed Peas, the one that nobody knows his name. He went on a long time about Spirit, and never actually showed the toy. He held it, but he never put it up to the camera. So if you watched it on Saturday, so that was funny. Brian's ceiling versus Don's kitchen. The epic battle begins, Blade says. tfradio.net/Discord. So yeah, that was PulseCon for me. Okay.
I miss Don's Kitchen.
I miss Don's Kitchen too. Last week we talked about maybe making Don's Kitchen his background for his call.
Now we just have a wall of boxes.
If I can get a day off where something is not needing to be done, fixed, or
You
otherwise,
have a house now, Don. Good luck.
I
Yeah.
know, because we've got a plumber coming tomorrow for a few small things that have popped. Everything was fine until we started using a few of the things, and now we're seeing a few issues. So there's
Everything
that.
was fine until you started using the water, and now you need a plumber.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I apologize for the mess, y'all. I wanted to have it at least. I wanted to have a little bit done each week, so as the show goes, you can see a progression of the room taking shape. And at this point,
Don, look behind me. Look behind Diecast. Look behind Brian. Don't look behind Matt though, because Matt's actually like on top of this. But like, this is genuine to the experience of. Well, Matt, way to shatter the illusion. But you know, you at least have something presentable to show behind you. The rest of us are just kind of amid various kinds of chaos here. And
Very carefully plotted camera angles.
yeah, I've tried to do the same thing, but it's just kind of fallen apart over the last year or so. I can't begin to figure out why, but Don, this is genuine to the experience of being us. So like, don't worry about it.
one day I'll be buried under like Diecast had a pile of boxes, and I'll just be under the pile of boxes with the headset on, having the show.
Has anybody else had the nightmare where they keep delivering boxes until you're barricaded in the house?
I was just gonna say, all right, podcasting box for it, but you just kind of put a dark spin on that, haven't you?
So hey, actually speaking of PulseCon, there was a live stream today that I missed because I had to go pick up my kids. And there's apparently Transformer stuff in that, right?
A tiny little bit. So it's a funny thing. You know, this was advertised as being for it was not like Pulse Fan Fest, which was open to everybody except for I think 1 day's worth or something, or like a small segment. This was supposed to be a Pulse Premium exclusive stream, but no, just like last time, an unlisted YouTube link, and they sent a push notification to my Hasbro Pulse app that opened it in YouTube on my phone, and I was able to just copy the link out of there. And I don't have Pulse Premium, I should point out here. That's kind of an important clause to this story. And I've had an interesting experience during PulseCon with this Pulse Premium app that I went ahead and decided to download, where I've been able to order stuff that has been restricted to Pulse Premium only without having Pulse Premium through the app. Yeah. So I ordered Ravage. So when Ravage went up on Friday, for the first 5 or so minutes, it was showing out of stock on the app. But once that cleared, I was able to order Ravage at like my local time 3:10-ish, which was, you know, well early into the premium only access. And then just today for our friend Josh, Wheeljack64, I ordered him the Lightning Collection in Space Silver Ranger, which was up on premium access. So yeah, I don't know what exactly is going on with this. It's not conferring me premium benefits because I'm still having to pay for shipping for stuff I order that's below $50. But yeah, I can get around the premium lockout for the time being. Go ahead.
I was going to say, because I think basically what's happening is it's automatically giving you access to premium features just for having the app. So
no, because Josh tried the app thing. He was able to order his own Ravage during the premium access period on Friday, and that worked. He doesn't have premium either, obviously. He deleted the app in the meantime and then re-downloaded it today to try to order Power Rangers in Space Silver, and it wouldn't work. I think what happened was the initial rollout version of the app is not respecting the time lockout on some of the products.
Right.
And they rolled out an update. I still have the original version of it because I didn't delete it and reinstall it, and I won't let stuff update automatically on my phone because I've had too many things ruined that way. So I'm keeping this version of the app for as long as I can.
That's why I was going to say I updated the app today. So they fixed a bunch of things, but I have premium, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah.
They fixed the order listing. Is it still just an infinite scroll of horror?
Well, for
Yeah,
some people, it's only a little bit of a scroll, but for us,
Mhm.
it's infinite.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that was my notable PulseCon experience, just getting around the time restrictions. The trade-off is my Ravage won't be delivered until tomorrow, but
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Other than that-
basically like you said with Ravage being sold out. I was like, how can it be sold out already? It just hit whatever.
and that
4
was
o'clock.
only through the app. On the
Yeah.
website, it was not ever showing sold out. It's still available to order today. Like they have a goodly quantity of these Ravages. If anybody wanted it, they had more than ample opportunity to get the Galvatron Unicron accessory pack thing. Though that went pretty fast. I don't know if that's just because they made a small quantity because they're supposed to go with HasLab Unicron, or if there really just was that much more demand for that specific thing than this Ravage. I don't really know.
I mean,
Well,
basically, I was yelling at the app, and Matt was laughing at me, saying, "I just went on the website and I got everything."
Yeah. I have the link to the web page. Like it worked perfectly fine.
I would have been laughing at you too, for the record.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can find that Galvatron because, I'm thinking a lot of people would probably want that more than they would the Marvel Comics colored Galvatron, even if they don't have Unicron, because you can still have like a really nice display with
Yeah, because
Megatron.
transfers the movie.
Yeah, exactly. So you can still have a nice Megatron and Galvatron display doing that. Even if you don't have Unicron, you could probably sell the Unicron parts to well cover keeping what you wanted out of the set. I just hope I can find one at some point.
I have to believe that the way Hasbro has been about Pulse exclusives in particular with Transformers, more of these Galvatrons will become available in the fullness of time.
I agree.
I don't think it's going to be a one and done, just based on the experience we've had with this kind of stuff over the last couple of years. The Pit of Judgment came back into production and pre-order status several times, and even non-Pulse exclusives, but like the Seeker 2 pack and the Rainmakers have gone through a second production run. The Titans have. Hasbro is not against rerunning stuff that they feel like needs a second availability for the fandom. So I think there's a good chance this Galvatron will come back available again. You just might have to wait for it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that mindset has come a bit too late for people who still need Titans Return, Windblade, and Topspin, and Misfire, and all those figures.
Different
Generations
era, Don.
gears.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just sorry that mindset didn't hit.
Oh
sooner.
yeah, okay, I see. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, and that mindset didn't hit sooner because a lot of them things. Because it took Rob how long to find a twin twist?
I forget who I even got that from. I think it was from Jen, but yeah, it was a while.
Cool. Okay. Let's see here. Are we in the show? We're in the show. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been in the show for 25 minutes.
Like, are we in the news? Because I mentioned there's something I failed to mention in the intro that I wanted to talk about. It's something very important to us.
No, I think we're still technically in the intro. We just kind of rolled the PulseCon experience into the intro because I specifically wanted to ask you and lead you into your PulseCon experience, and we just kind of went on from there.
Before we officially hit the news, I do want to point out it's this is the last episode of October in 2021. So November is the next episode, which means we'll have about a month to talk about Toys for Tots and Operation Elf on a Shelf.
Elf on a Shelf warmer.
I love saying that. So it's something we do every year. There's all sorts of junk out there, that you don't want to buy because you already have it. Say you already have a wing finger. Maybe wing finger is not a good example.
No, that's good.
Well,
that's a good example.
Tracks, yeah. A kid out there would
Oh,
love
don't inflict that on a kid.
Well, I'm okay. Wheeljack.
Kid out there would love to have Wheeljack.
Yeah.
Even though you don't need another Wheeljack, you could go buy one because it's sitting on the shelf and help clear it out. And a kid in need out there, and I use this as a personal example. Two of my kids are adopted. One is their youngest biological sister is in technically still in foster care. We're working toward adopting her, but before they were taken out of their home, they had nothing. If they didn't get something from like the school or something similar to Toys for Tots, they didn't get anything. You know, I grew up poor, and my idea of what poor is dramatically insufficient for what kids, you know, like my kids experience and other kids experience. And there's a lot of kids who don't get anything, you know, Christmas or Hanukkah or, you know, the holiday season, without, you know, generosity from a stranger. So, you know, what Elf on the Shelf Warmer is it's just our chance to help clear the aisle of shelf warming toys and put them in the hands of a kid that would love to have them. There's always some kind of clearance going on. Walmart has a lot of stuff on clearance right now. Target had some stuff on clearance. You know, it's just a great time to pick something up and do it. Last year we did an Amazon wish list. I don't like doing an Amazon wish list, even though the way it's set up, it does not count toward our affiliate link, because I don't want to do that, because to me that's sketchy. I don't know if we'll do it again this year or not. The stuff would come to me and I donated it. Though, because there are people out there who don't have the option to drop something off in a box like
me.
I do. So we may do that this year. We may not. I'll decide by next week. But I'll probably do what I did. If we do that, I'll put a tree up, and then anything that comes to the house to donate, I'll put it under the tree, and then I'll do video and stuff as I donate it. So I've already got stuff collected for Toys for Tots this year. I've been collecting them for the last few months, and I just love doing it. It's important to me. So if you want to pick up something, you know, you see in the store, just sitting there, whether it's some of those Masters of the Universe Origin stuff,
Red
wrestling
collection.
figures, yeah,
Red
anything-
collection.
yeah,
Some kids would love to have those red collection figures, even though they don't suit a lot of our tastes. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of kids out there who would be really happy to have, maybe not Hulk, Bumblebee specifically, but you know, there's plenty of others to choose from at this point. And yeah, you know, get that stuff off the shelves into the hands of a kid that needs it, and Studio Series stuff that's hanging around too. Like, there's so much to choose from out there right now.
Action Figure Expert in our YouTube chat always has something valuable to point out. Ollie's has a ton of grapples. There's a ton,
My Ollie's has a ton of grapples and Star Screams and one of the Micromaster bases. And I happen to have another 15% off my entire purchase coupon. So
yeah, so
Ross right
Nice.
now has varying assortments of recent-ish Cyberverse toys.
Cyberverse
So
would be
that's
great.
another good, yeah.
So pick it up, drop it in a donation box, feel better about yourself. So it's, you know, if I didn't have that to feel better about myself, I would just, you know, I would succumb to, you know, depression and all that. So
Even if you
yeah, I
don't do a
just-
wish list, I might pick something on Amazon and have it sent to you so you can drop it
Okay.
off, just because I want to do something nice like that, but there is zero options anywhere near me to do that
I've been there.
directly.
I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah, and there's stuff near me, but the odds that I will get to any of it is fairly low, so I may well do the same.
Okay. So I've got the tree right back there. Never took it into storage, just in the closet. So maybe I'll set that up for next week. So
Awesome.
cool. Okay. Hey, the news. Hey, PulseCon happened. Transformer stuff happened. Legacy happened. Have a great week. Let's see. Can I show this off? That's not working.
Oh, I thought we were ending the show right there.
Okay, so let me show the photo. So what we got, that laser prime. I always want to call it laser rod. He was only called laser rod in Europe. In the US, he was laser prime.
Yeah, I mean, it's technically valid for here too, because he was part of that play pattern, but yeah, he's not like a hot rod.
Yeah, but so I think that's the big winner for me anyway of the.
that's the big winner for me as well.
Yeah, so of course they again showed off the same skids and bulkhead from before. then Prime RC, Kickback, and a Drag Strip. So
Drag Strip looks
Strip's
really
the
nice
winner for
too.
me.
I like Drag
Yeah.
Strip. I want to love Kickback.
I don't dig the texture on the wings.
That's it.
Other than that,
Yeah, I like it. I love what they're going with, and I love the fact, of course, that they use the. They've been really good about maintaining that cockpit, you know, for the look anyway, whether it's a functioning cockpit or not, you know. But it looks right. But yeah, so I have I'm going to talk with the Hasbro design team on Friday, and if it's like the last time I spoke to him, I just basically told Mark how awesome he was for like 30 minutes, and then I got booted off the call. But Mark has his hands on a lot of these, so I'll probably get a lot of FaceTime with him Friday. So if you're listening and you have questions, you know, tweet at TF Radio, and I will do my best to get them in.
Did you tell them or did they tell you the slogan for Transformers Legacy? Because I happen to know it.
What is it?
Till all are G1. Since that's basically what they're doing. They're taking in all these characters and making them.
Well, not RC.
They're G1ifying them. So
They put RC through a G1 filter as much as they did Bulkhead.
yeah.
Which I don't understand. Why would you make a G1 version of Prime RC when there's already a G1 RC? Bulkhead, I can kind of understand.
Maybe they sculpted her like that for future repaints, like some people have been saying. Some of the movie figures, you know, you might, you know, just, you know, they try to find an aesthetic that would fit RC, and also fit a bunch of the repaints coming down the line. So they just sort of designed her with repaints in mind.
They made a G1 compatible motorcycle and put Prime RC parts on it, I think is what you're trying to get at.
Yeah. That's a lot more elegant than what I was saying, but yeah, you're right.
But I believe in this stream for PulseCon or HasCon or whatever we're calling it,
PulseCon.
they actually said that is what they're doing, is they're bringing these characters in, but they're adding them into a G1 style.
I think they said the Generations style.
Yeah, the Generation style just happens to be their Neo G1 style.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I was thinking about this quite a bit over the weekend, actually. Remember how everybody was disappointed with Galaxy Convoy?
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, it's smaller and less complex and generally less awesome than the one that we got back in 2005, 2006.
I keep forgetting that existed, actually.
This is going to be funny in about 15 minutes. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah. So, generally speaking, like, what are you going to do with Bulkhead? How are you going to make a satisfying Bulkhead at basically any price point that's going to be comparable to, like, you know, the old, the animated toy was the large one. Was that like a giant Voyager, or was that a leader class?
It was leader class. The Voyager one was like a stocky deluxe just because of the build of it. The leader one was a lot better proportioned and size for its size class, though.
But we're not going to get anything comparable to that.
What we could get, though, is something comparable to the Prime Robots in Disguise Voyager toy, which I have and is actually, for my taste specifically, I'm not trying to say anybody else needs to agree with this. For my taste, that toy already is close enough to me for Generation style Bulkhead.
You don't need to buy a new one.
I'm not buying the new one. I'm going to get my Prime Voyager one back out and just use that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of, you know, the question you asked about what could you do to make a satisfying Bulkhead at these price points is, you know, my first answer is I think you'd start by making it look like Bulkhead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like that answer.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I mean, it's people who collect Transformers for the most part, if they want that Bulkhead, they were probably buying them, you know, 10 years ago.
Okay, so they showed the concept art for that Bulkhead in which the proportions were more blown up. He was a much stockier bot. And I think that looked fantastic. but when it came to practical application, the dimensions got slimmed down and everything, which is
So
kind
they
of
can
why it
reuse
looks,
that frame as someone
Yeah.
Yeah,
else.
of course.
Yeah.
yeah. So in theory, that would make a really good bulkhead.
I
Yeah.
agree. I saw that design art too, and I thought if it looked more like that, I don't think people would have been complaining about it near as much. My own thought about this bulkhead that I had during one of my many long drives up and back from town. I often have many deep thoughts in the car. This is going to sound a little convoluted, so stick with me here. If Movie Hound had been called Bulkhead, like we all thought he should have been just Bulkhead from the start, and this was portrayed as like a fusion of animated Prime and theoretically movie Bulkhead, like the proportions, the alt mode, everything would be a lot more acceptable as that fused character. But Bulkhead exists as the Prime character and the animated character, both of which have a really particular body style that resembles many of us quite closely. And it's just really hard to see that character in this toy. I understand the realities of why it is the way it is. Doesn't mean it had to be or should have been done in the first place, that they weren't going to get it really representative of the character they're going for, in my opinion.
Just because
I think you're onto something there, Chris, because as you were saying this, I was thinking, okay, yeah, if they had, how they kind of in like the early 2000s, they kind of like hybridized some of the movie details into some of the other characters. And if they had released this in like 2011 as Reveal the Shield movie Bulkhead, I would probably not even give it a second thought.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
I think that's something I was leaning towards when I first saw this, as I mentioned the movie Hound and Bulkhead, and they just like squashed them together. But now I'm thinking, like, if they would have put like a movie Hound head on this, I would totally been like, yeah, this is G1 this is G1 Hound from the movie.
So I know I started this conversation. We did talk about, I actually made a point to listen to last week's show. We did talk about that a lot, this specific toy, but Prime RC though, same general idea. Do we feel that she accomplishes whatever they're doing better than Bulkhead?
I think it gets the character across better. The face does not really say Prime RC to me that much, but partly that's because it has a nose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, I'm not going to say it's necessary, because it's not necessary for any Transformer to have a nose specifically, as far as we understand how their physiology works. But, the lack of nose thing is kind of important for the portrait of that character. Basically, attaching a nose is just spiting her face.
I think because, like we were talking about, Bulkhead, proportionally, she is not quite as far removed from Prime RC. She works better, but it is kind of funny to me that we already had the Prime RC body in Generations as Chromia. So, that there was not exactly as big a disconnect from Generation style and that RC as there was Bulkhead to begin with.
That's also a really good point.
Yeah.
It sort of reminds me of when in the Star Trek Transformers crossover, they ran Windblade through that G1 filter to put her with the G1 cast, and she didn't look right in the comic. Even though she was supposed to be there, she never really looked like she was supposed to be there. Nothing against character. I'm just saying.
I mean, generally speaking, if Generations is basically their G1 line. I mean, occasionally they'll throw something in that says no, but it is, she is a Generations G1 character, but it's like the resolution is off. It's kind of like she's a 16-bit sprite and she's trying to play with 8-bit sprites. And there's more detailing there than makes sense. And it doesn't look right, especially if you try to render it out in 8 bits.
Yeah, I'm just not sure I want to see non-G1 characters made into G1 characters.
Well, sorry, Don. You're not
I'm just saying, you just...
I absolutely do.
I'm going to have 20 years of this, Don, so get used to it.
If it can be done properly, it's just that bulk again. I'm not slamming anything because we haven't seen. I'm just saying
Done.
that bulkhead looks like it's an amalgamation, like we said. But to me, it's like the Megatron Ratchet amalgamation from Marvel G1 comics, then a G1 character.
I know that it's not 1997, 1998 anymore. And we should have higher standards than we used to have. Do you remember how cool though it was? Like, oh, this owl is Prowl.
Or just remember Machine Wars in general.
Machine Wars. It's like, oh my gosh, this truck that doesn't look like Optimus Prime is now Optimus Prime. This is amazing. This tank is Soundwave. Oh my God.
I got to be honest, Brian, that actually kind of put me off of Machine Wars at the time. I regret intensely
totally
not getting that Optimus Prime now. But at the time, it's just like, that doesn't really look like Optimus Prime. I'm skip that. Again, deep regret since.
Yeah. But like for me at the time though, I didn't care. The same thing with like the Spy Changers when they went back and started repainting Spy Changers as G1 characters.
But Spy Changers are loved, Brian. Spy Changers are loved.
Spy Changers are loved. But the big deal is Beast Wars. Like when the Beast Wars Grimlock that we just got the repaint of. Stuff like that. Super Primal Prime. Anytime that they tried to take a Beast Wars mold and turn it into a G1 character, my heart swooned. I'm like, oh my God, Hasbro loves me. This is amazing. And almost to an extent, it's kind of the same thing. Hasbro's not really interested in making, Prime toys right now. So here's a bulkhead. Give me $30. Have a nice day.
I think
I say no, thank you. Have a good day, sir.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, if they were to just if they were to give me an owl named Bulkhead that turned into something that looked nothing like Bulkhead, I'd actually probably be more
awesome.
okay with that.
I
kind of would like. Yeah, I think the way they're doing it feels not as much like that, because it's not like they're adding G1 characters to the lore. Like adding Prowl to Beast Wars represents kind of, in a certain sense, an expansion of Prowl's life as a character. It means, it represents something has changed for him. Something has happened to him that has made him this very different thing. And, that's great. And maybe if Legacy has some kind of fiction with it, Bulkhead and all of these characters will get there too, in a way that feels fulfilling.
Yeah.
But just on an aesthetic level, what this feels like is kind of a flattening of the brand that feels that has felt too hyper focused on G1 for a while for me anyway. And that's just kind of, that's kind of a thing.
I guess I'm not sure how I feel about this in the final summary. But it's like going, but it's like, that's the final countdown. But it's like they're taking the characters and you're seeing them through a funhouse mirror. And I'm not sure if I'm having any fun yet or not.
That's actually a good way to describe Bulkhead, because this is what he would look like in a funhouse mirror. Let's talk about Dragstrip, though.
Dragstrip is amazing, and I will hear not a bad word spoken about him.
Yes, that's the thing. No. This Dragstrip looks like a really good toy of Dragstrip, and that's mostly because there's no combiner parts on him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good point.
Dragstrip basically confirmed all of our worst fears about what Menasor is going to be, because it's pretty obvious from this, with no integral combiner anatomy of any sort that we can see right now, that all of Menasor is going to exist within Motor Master's footprint.
Trailer, yeah.
Various words that can mean the same thing, yeah. And like, on the one hand, as Dragstrip is proving, this means we can get some really nice toys of the individual Stunticons that are not compromised to needing to have 4 separate modes, basically, like the Combiner Wars ones did. And at the same time, though, they're taking away a fundamental play value of these characters as toys, because these are going to be locked to being whatever limb they were in the cartoon.
I don't care.
Probably going to. I mean, I'm torn.
You don't care.
I mean, they never changed in the cartoon anyway, so
that's because the cartoon. that's because the cartoon had no imagination, or the animators couldn't be bothered, one or the other.
Like as a kid, except for Computron, I never completed a combiner. So I absolutely mix and matched parts to, have different combiners. That's like a fundamental aspect to how I enjoy these toys. And that's gone.
It lacks scramble power.
Yeah.
Look at Voltron.
Yes.
Voltron
like
can
Voltron.
scramble city, at least with the legs and the arms.
Okay.
But no one ever does that because it's dumb. Because when you look at the show,
I haven't watched the show in 35 years.
the green line was always the left arm. So why would you put green lion on the right side? It doesn't make sense.
I've done it. But anyway, so like I reserve judgment until I see what Menasor looks like. If Menasor looks good, like I know, people are going to say, it's just a trailer and, you're just stapling the cars on. That's what all the third parties are doing too.
And honestly, after the Combiner Wars Menasor we had, like with that Motormaster torso, I'm not against the idea of having a Menasor that can stand around as Menasor and be stable and actually look nice. Just, I feel like taking the play pattern in this direction for that end result is kind of taking away something from what the toys could be. But again, if we look at this as we're going to have a set of really nice individual Stunticon character toys, and there just happens to be a stack of extra parts that comes with Motormaster to make them all be able to clip together as a Menasor as a bonus feature, that I can see that being okay once it's all done with.
Yeah, if Menasor comes out as a good Menasor, I can deal without the Scramble City functionality.
Plus, Blade Raider makes a good point in our Discord chat, tfradio.net/Discord, about, the possibilities for the future, where he says, you know what, give me a good deluxe Swindle and I'll be fine with this. And I 105% agree with him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Give it to me in red.
Swindle and Dead End are my favorite combiner characters.
I'm a first
and
aid
Drag
guy.
Strip looks like he's going to be a good toy. So it's not even like
Yes.
I'm waiting. I'm going to be like, oh, I got this, limb, and now I got to wait till I can actually build a combiner.
First Aid's fine, but I identify with Dead End because he was clearly suffering from depression from the moment he's brought online.
Mood.
Yeah, I think it's people are going to have to realize with the way they're looking at combiners, they're going to have to realize we're going to have a trade-off to get these combiner sets done, and having a commander class or leader class core, they're going to have to make some sacrifices to get the good robot and the good looking combiner. And if that involves snapping around a frame, I think that might be the trade-off.
So okay, let's move off of Menasor because that's one combiner. We haven't even really talked about the general play pattern of this thing. It's these Energon accessories where you can,
I didn't talk about that for a reason.
Yeah, you can stack crap on top of each other. I'm looking. I really love the look of the Laser Prime. I think it to me, I'm assuming he's pretty much going to be about the scale of Earthrise Optimus.
Well,
it should be based on the reused parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 3/4 of the legs are the same.
Yeah. So they should be great companion pieces. And like, I mentioned the conversation with Hasbro, they were already working on this the last time I spoke to them, but I'm like, you're never going to do a G1 Optimus. That G1 Battle Convoy as good again at this scale. So, do something different. And they're doing something different. And it looks great. But, I'm looking at they have it with the Energon piece, the sword connected to it. And to me, it looks kind of silly.
Oh, that's very dumb. But, they both had to give Optimus Prime an Energon axe because, of course, they have to give Optimus Prime an Energon axe. And they have to display the intercompatibility of these various parts by plugging the sword into the Energon axe to make a much worse sword and axe at the same time.
This looks to me
So
like
wait, you forgot one thing that's very important.
Okay.
It's clear plastic plugging into
Yeah.
clear plastic.
oh, yeah.
That plugs into
That's
clear
why I didn't wanna
plastic
talk
as
about it.
much as you want.
Yeah. So this looks like the best version of Laser Prime they're going to do, other than the original Laser Prime. Because I don't, it's again, it's basically anything after 94. Any new toy that they do based on it's not going to be as good as the original toy. Anything, say, from 93 or before, the new version is going to be superior to the original for the most part.
So what you're saying is 1994 was the height of Transformers development.
Yes, 95, 94. I guess the development. Yeah. So so this is going to be smaller than Laser Prime. That's fine. The G2 Laser Prime. But this is like the third or fourth take they've had in the last 10 years on Laser Prime. And I've not been crazy about any of them. And I hope this is the last time they do it. Ever.
I mean, this, because they're using, at least partially established framework, they're not having to redevelop this 100% from the ground up. Hopefully that lets them put a little bit more into the new part so that it has that, chunky solid feel and everything just kind of works. The Titans Return version was not bad per se. It was definitely very much a product of its engineering environment. The 2010-ish Reveal the Shield one was, again, a product of its time, and it just had certain flaws, like if you put the weapon in the hands stress and maybe break.
And it was too small overall.
Yeah.
It was too small overall. Also, it's kind of that thing Rob was talking about a little bit ago with the Transformers Prime update toys, where they kind of tried to put some movie Optimus into that 2010 Laser Prime toy at the same time. They tried to do kind of a fusion thing with that. This is feeling more like it's trying to uphold the spirit of the G2 toy.
Minus
I've
the
got-
sticker.
Toy Hacks will fix
Toy
that,
Hacks will fix
but I feel better about this as a try at updating this design than the ones that came before it. Now, for my part, of the first wave reveals, I'm buying almost none of them, just because this Laser Prime, I already know Walmart's going to release it as Robots in Disguise Scourge, and I think I'd rather have that. Just for one
I want
example.
that and Laser Magnus and whatever else.
If they do Laser
they're-
Magnus.
Selects.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's definitely venues they could do that. It's just if the will was there
Yeah.
or not. There's so little I intend to buy of this first wave. I'm on the fence about Skids because it's a very accurate G1 Skids, but the visual style, I kind of like the IDW based one better, even though it's definitely not going to be as good of a posable toy
I've
as
got
the new one.
Skids intrigues me because the repaint potential, but I'm not
Yes.
sure if I'm actually going to get Skids himself.
Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of where I'm at with this. So drag strip, I will get eventually because I am going to assemble this new Menasor.
I will have
In time.
drag strip.
I don't think deluxe Insecticons, I should say deluxe scale Insecticons, not the deluxe Insecticon characters. Those
Yeah.
aren't necessary, but deluxe scale Insecticons I don't think are necessary. I am perfectly happy with the legend scale ones I assembled over the last almost 10 years now. Wow. Wow. Yeah, Shrapnel did come out in 2013. Damn.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Yeah, I know, right? No, I'm happy with my legend scale Insecticons. And then for the RC, the redecos, retools are more interesting to me in Potentia than the RC is. The bulkhead, we already think we know what the retool of that is going to be, which is Beast Hunters Optimus Prime, which I'd rather have that if I'm going to have an example of that
I'd rather
base
have Bulkhead.
design.
Me too.
I mean, I'm not super thrilled with either, but if I'm going to get a copy of that engineering, it's going to be the Beast Hunters Optimus version more than it is the bulkhead. But I mean, that's pretty much where I'm at with this. The first wave, I'm largely skipping just for the sake of I'll get these molds as future uses. None of this first wave as it comes really thrills me at all.
Yeah, I get it. I pre-ordered them out. I'm not super excited about them necessarily in total, but I think back to was it Earthrise or Siege that we just felt so negatively?
Yes.
Siege. Like, and Siege ended up, I ended up liking it a lot better than I expected. I feel better about this than Siege, to be honest, than I did at the beginning.
Toss
Yeah,
up.
I can agree with that.
So
Toss up.
yeah, so we'll see. Okay, was there any other news? Oh well, actually, real quick, the couple other things. So GI Joe, it was Brian Goes Broke edition. The Cobra Bat, which they did not put up for pre-order, thank goodness. But they did put up the Python Patrol Bat, which is new. Which I did pre-order that. A couple of those, a couple other things. I forgot who it was that put this on Twitter, so I'm not intentionally trying to steal your thunder. But it was such a good comment that Triplet actually brought it up in a text exchange with me and a couple other friends. That a couple years ago GI Joe was dead, and next year there's going to be a deluxe edition Crocmaster. It's crazy how things have shifted. It's insane. That we are where we are. They did announce the GI Joe HasLab, and I get it. It wouldn't be my first choice. Everybody thought the USS Flag. The price of that would be the most expensive HasLab toy to date if they did that.
Or they would have to sell many of them.
Yeah, but they did the Sky Striker. It's officially licensed by the manufacturer, and stretch goals include up to several O-ringed figures.
4, I think, potentially.
So I backed it as soon as they popped up. I'm like, oh, I bet that's already on Hasbro Pulse, and I went and I was one of the first 3 backers. So I'm genuinely excited about it. It's the most iconic GI Joe vehicle. Not my favorite, but it's the most iconic. And one thing that I'm kind of excited about and kind of bummed about at the same time, and I think John on Twitter is more on the bummed side, is that the GI Joe, the retro line, they are eschewing sort of more modern engineering for O-ring Joes. And some people are ecstatic about that, but that is just a new aesthetic again. That my GI Joe 25th anniversary and newer figures all go together, but these are going to go with the stuff that are 25 or 30 years old, and they've made some updates now. The O-ring is silicone, so food grade silicone, so it lasts longer.
Yeah, that should have a really long shelf life, actually.
Yeah, the thumb is now, I think it's PVC, so it's a little more flexible and less prone to breakage, which that's cool and all, and there are people who love their O-ring Joes. It feels like going back, especially considering I've, invested all of this into all these other, more modern Joes. I'm going to get it either way. It's a 2-pack of Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. But yeah.
But in more positive GI Joe news, though, when I checked before the show, the GI Joe HasLab is about 1,000 backers ahead of the Star Wars HasLab.
Wow. Let's look at it. So, man, they have 3 HasLab projects going right now.
Can I just say they're doing way too many HasLab projects?
You are right.
I agree.
Yeah. I like all these brands, and I can't keep.
There's a target
300-400 at a time.
There's a target.
No,
of
we just backed 2.
I just backed 1. So the Sky Striker, the target's 10,000. There's 41 days left. It's a 4,300. The Rancor is targeted 9,000. It's not over 9,000. It's 3,738. Then I don't understand why this one is being backed at all. It just posted today. It's already over 2,500 backers. The Ghostbusters Plasma Series Proton Pack.
What's the goal on that one?
7,000. My favorite part of every Ghostbusters movie is where people are walking around with a proton pack and nothing else.
I think we've been watching different Ghostbusters movies, Brian.
Yeah, so you have to have the Neutrona wand that they were selling 2 years ago to go with this.
I believe somebody in the Discord said that Entertainment Earth had just put a supply of those back up. So I hope that's the start of. I hope that's the start of them actually trying to make it available, so people, did not have to buy this thing in advance 2 years ago for something that they had no idea of knowing would exist.
To me, it's silly selling it separate.
It
to me,
is.
it's one unit. It's not two things.
A $400 crowdfunded item that's not complete unless you buy something at
And
retail.
again, Ghostbusters is my favorite movie. I would never buy this. Without being complete. One, two, $400 is more than I would want to spend for this, and I'm not going to. But it's not complete. It's not like nobody wants just a proton pack.
I am very, very much hoping that a neutrona wand that is not, for one, the beat up one from Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is, that's the other thing about this, is that's what's available to complete this proton pack if you're getting the one that was at retail. But I'm kind of hoping that a better neutrona wand will be one of the stretch goals for this, because to be honest, since it's like a third of the way there already on, within the first few hours, seems like there's a good chance this is going to meet its stretch goals.
To be fair, though, the neutrino wand is on pre-order on Hasbro Pulse right now. So if you want to get the pack and the wand, it's not going to be hard to do. You can pre-order the wand right now.
Very expensive.
It's $125. So basically, you're $525 in. You're almost Unicron price.
I mean, if you're a Ghostbusters cosplayer, one, you probably have, one already. But, so two, that's probably not that bad if that's your thing. But,
it's kind of in a bad place, even neutrona wand question aside, because if you're a Ghostbusters cosplayer, you've probably either built your own proton pack that is like 100% screen accurate for significantly more, or you've gotten a viable prop one at Spirit Halloween for significantly less.
Yeah.
I'm just, sitting here when y'all were talking about, I didn't even realize the Star Wars one has launched. I'm just wondering if maybe the reason all three are running is because
money.
Money.
Yeah, money. But I mean, beyond that they're looking at, after first of the year, they're seeing increased in cost coming from some quadrant, whether it's a manufacturing cost, a raw materials cost. And that's why they're pushing all three, because when they had all this stuff on the drawing board for cost versus profit was before this new information came in, or what they're expecting to happen. That's why we have all three running, because they're trying to get it done under costs that they can calculate right now.
Don, I understand what you're thinking, but these things are not going to be made for another,
but they got to source the materials to make them from.
Right. So, I mean, if they hit their funds within the
before prices go up, they can buy the
material. So
I don't think so.
I
think they're going to be ended up buying them at the higher price anyway. If there is a higher price, we could be at the high price right now, and things could start to come down a little bit.
But none of this stuff is going to be available for this holiday season. So getting it, they would have done it earlier this year if they were trying to get Christmas.
Oh God! 3 HasLab projects going at once, going into the Christmas
That's a bad
season.
idea, yeah. But to Don's point, I mean, like, bean counting is a big part of what makes this happen. It's what sets the number of backers needed. It's what sets the initial price. It's what sets bean counting is what is at least part of the decision on how many to put up at a given time. For whatever reason, they decided to go all three. Actually, I think Don has a very valid point. It could be that, but the thing is, we don't know, because we don't know what their buying schedule is. We don't know when they get raw materials. We don't know who they buy them from. We don't know at what rates. We don't know what time. But that is a very possible point.
I think Don's barking up the right tree, if nothing else.
Yeah,
I agree.
It just seems like there's got to be some outside force that's not been present in their decision making versus the previous year and a half since HasLab's been going
It's
to
it's,
cause
it's
to
either a
cause
cost
this.
thing or a confidence thing. It's or a combination of the two.
Yeah, I think definitely their confidence is up at this point, since they've run through a few campaigns now without having another Cookie Monster happen.
Cool. Okay. Are we good? Anything else?
Unless we want to just address that Red Hoist went up.
Oh yeah. So I love the fact that they're using the lift ticket name.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's great.
I love the fact that it's Red Hoist.
Yeah. And actually, what the lift ticket? What color is his costume?
Red.
It's not the same color, is it? Because that would be perfect. No, it's green.
That's a good question.
It's tan and green.
Well, that would just be Hoist again, so that
Yeah.
wouldn't really be that fun, would it?
No, I was just if it was like a confluence of lift tickets colors matching, that would have been wonderful. But I guess I'd have been thinking of not barbecue, maybe the Fun School barbecue actually. Yeah.
Hey,
so
Hey Brian,
Yeah.
are we going to talk about the NFT issue with that?
No.
what's in
Nope.
Okay,
What are
I
we
didn't
talking-
know if you. Okay,
Is it in the show notes?
I don't think it's an issue.
It's not in the show notes because it was the Power Rangers thing.
right,
Yeah.
right. But I was
And we
gonna
also
say,
don't want to talk about it.
We don't
right.
talk about it.
I just hope I don't see. I just hope I don't see it in other properties.
I'm very disappointed. I will say that.
Yes.
Same.
That was the near universal response to this on social media in the
Right,
hours
Diecast?
after.
I got it. I bought it.
Okay, so Diecast can't be on the show anymore.
Well, I bought it I was curious.
He gets a toy out of it too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
getting a toy out of
he
it.
bought it. He bought it to cash it in for the toy.
I'm fine with that.
And I was very confused because this is my first NFT. And basically I had to wait till
Mine were Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah, till the 2 days were over to get this NFT. And then it's basically just a picture.
Yes,
So-
that's the entire thing. This is about Diecast. That's what
Yes,
NFTs are.
Which I believe you redeem for a digital coin that you can trade in for the toy.
All I know is I'm getting a toy out of it.
If I
Yeah.
got that
Yeah.
straight, I might be wrong.
If there
about
was a
that.
Transformers NFT that you could trade in for a toy, I'd be trading that thing in for a toy. So I'm not gonna judge Diecast for that. I would get it and trade it in for my toy. And
I think it may be technically be a digital certificate of ownership for a picture that you then trade in for a digital coin that you trade for a toy.
Something like that,
That's
yeah.
all a little bit stupider.
Yeah.
Very
Well,
convoluted.
It's very weird. It is very, very weird, but I was interested.
Yeah.
Like it had my interest.
Yeah.
Like I've never had an NFT before. This is like a whole new
It's
thing.
it's very underwhelming.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Don has expressed in our Discord chat that he doesn't get NFTs, and I think that's very valid. And I came up with a really good simile for this the other day that I'd like to share that hopefully will help Don to understand. So an NFT is like owning a bottle of air that you can't see, where the air inside of it has been distilled through electrolysis from seawater, and it produces 500 times more pollutants than the amount of oxygen that was put into the bottle through that electrolysis. That's an NFT.
So yeah, so
that sucks.
I was doing some
Yes!
I was doing some reading on the whole thing, and I tend to like be skeptical about whatever and all that. But based on my reading, yeah, I mean NFTs as they exist are not very environmentally friendly.
They are not at all, and that
Yeah.
Hasbro doing an NFT to redeem for an official product really flies in the face of the message they've been promoting
It is-
over the last
it-
couple
it
of
is entirely-
years.
so-
That
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say there are a lot of data farms that they I can't remember. This is something they were trying to do years ago. I'm pretty sure they're still trying to do it. They're trying to build data farms, data centers that are near renewable energy sources. Like, hydroelectric was a big one, or wind or solar. And if that was the case, I'd be much more
Or we could use
inclined-
that, renewable energy for something, more useful.
But there you go. But they're not. It's still running typically off fossil fuels or, nuclear. I'm fine with nuclear. But
it's mostly fossil
yeah, but
fuels
it's
because
mostly
even nuclear power proliferation is not that widespread
I'm
in
nuclear.
general.
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot of nuclear plants. I mean,
Yeah, but fossil fuel far outstrips it globally.
probably, yeah, globally, yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, they really are not good for the environment. That's true.
To
It's a lot of
be
resources to
fair,
expend to make a digital certificate of ownership for the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah,
Yes. Paladin also compared this to the trend a few years back where you could, pay someone to name a star after you or someone else.
yeah,
and-
star registry. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
I-
that's basically the same thing. It just doesn't require scads of computing power to
yeah,
generate a
I think
unique
that was
number to
I
prove
think
it.
that was the best example that I could come up with on how to describe it. Was
Well,
the
I
star
appreciate
registry.
it. That now I understand it. I feel dumber.
But to be
Thank
fair-
Then you understand it correctly.
Yes, you've got a correct grasp of it in that case, Don. No, Don, that was very valid, and I wanted to bring that just because we're dragging the NFT thing here, and I want to make sure everybody has a chance to understand why we feel the way we do about them.
I
to
think
be fair, I did read an article that the type of NFT that this is one of the more environmentally friendly NFT, which is why Hasbro chose that. So overall, NFTs.
we are non-experts. We're speaking based on our best understanding. Our best
Right.
understanding is what it is. It's possible that there are other technologies out there that are more environmentally,
Yes,
sound
this is
and-
this is one of the more environmentally friendly NFTs because there are levels of that.
And I do want to point out yes, this is adding to the carbon footprint of the world. Also, so is you listening to this podcast, or you
So is
having a
making
Facebook page,
toys.
etc. So,
Well, you
Yeah.
shouldn't have a Facebook page either.
yeah, Facebook sucks. But-
Agree.
Yeah. So, but So yes, there are better ways to allocate energy. This is just one more bad way. But if you want to do your part to eliminate that, delete your Facebook page.
Last word on this, I just want to quote Blade Raider again. He says, I had to explain NFTs to my brother, and his 5-year-old that was in the room did the Picard facepalm afterward.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So is it time for what we got yet? Because Chris got some stuff.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Let me go off push because having use of my hands would be useful. So I'm going to kind of go in order here of least important to most important to me. So picture it. About 20 minutes ago, RFC, we mentioned Siege Galaxy Force Prime and how
Yes.
nobody was really happy with it. So I got Siege Galaxy Force Prime.
Saw that
this
coming.
week. Yeah. One of the people in our Discord, let me check my messages to get the right person here. Zero G Frame in our Discord basically hates this and wanted to be rid of it and made me a really good deal on it. So now I have it. It's complete in very good condition, and it's not as nice as Ultra Magnus, like in terms of execution of the armor up gimmick, but it's better than I thought it would be. It's certainly no like original Cybertron Optimus Prime for play value, but like it's actually not that bad of a take on that idea, and I'm pleased, if nothing else, to have the remodeled Ultra Magnus cab robot in the Optimus Prime style, especially because the small robot has yellow eyes, just like the
Yeah.
Super Mode helmet does. And I love me some yellow-eyed Optimus Prime. So I'm really pleased to have this. But this was, no offense to Zero G Frame, the least important thing I got this week. So next up, I have Kingdom Tigatron.
Jelly.
I
Yeah.
hate you.
So CMD store got these in stock, as they tend to get things in stock early. So I got this off of their Amazon storefront. They have an Amazon Marketplace account. They had it listed up there for $49.99 plus about $10 shipping. I did not pay $49.99 plus $10 shipping for this. I got this for about $41 shipped. So I basically paid what I would pay if I got it retail and paid for shipping from an online store for it, because I had some reward points I could cash in among a few other things I was able to leverage to bring the price down. So I got a good deal on this and got it early and don't have to worry about it anymore. So Tigatron is largely Kingdom Cheetor. I actually did take the effort to
But
transform
good?
Cheetor.
Please say, but good.
He said largely.
Yes, largely. No, so like fundamentally it's the same thing as Cheetor at a bigger size, but there are like quality of life improvements to it. One major thing is in the beast mode, which of course I don't have it in beast mode now to demonstrate, but there's extra joints and more of the robot parts are covered up in the beast mode, so the beast mode looks more solid and complete. Like Cheetor's robot arms stick straight out back, and you can see them underneath the cat mode. Tigatrons are fully concealed because they fold back in over themselves and have panels that close them in. This also does not have all those fragile little tabs that snap off the first time you transform it, so that's also a major plus in its favor. There's a little bit more articulation you can use in the beast mode, so that's a little bit more flexible. The overall tolerances of all the joints on Tigatron feel a lot better than on Cheetor. I got a really good QC pull with this one as far as I can tell, so I'm really satisfied with that. And then like, remember how Cheetor, you basically fold the cat's mouth open and then peg it down over a peg that simulates the lower jaw on the robot chest? You don't have to do that stupid step on Tigatron. It is just the whole cat head there. So like it's upsized and basically just like improvements for quality of life. It's a much nicer experience in the hand, despite not being like materially very different from the deluxe mold. It's one of the most successful basically upscales I've seen of a design like this.
That's actually something I'd like to ask. Sorry to break in.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I've kind of been wondering, in fact, that if maybe they hadn't designed this as a Voyager and then downscaled it to become Cheetor. Just having handled them both now, what do you feel like the odds of that are?
So what I understand is originally Tigatron was going to be just a retool of the deluxe Cheetor. So it wasn't like a last minute thing, but it was later in the process that they decided that they would make a new Voyager sized mold for the character to scale correctly. Now obviously with the way they design stuff now, where there's a lot of it's all CAD and they can use like CNC milling to make the tools, they can just duplicate this and make some tweaks and have the scale go up. But if, as I've understood it from what people with inside knowledge have said, originally Tigatron was going to just be a retool. So I think this was designed as a deluxe first, and the Voyager is what came later. The biggest quality of life thing, which I think a lot of people would be happy to see, is Tigatron has the gut gun, which Cheetor was very conspicuously missing. The downside of that is that Tigatron's tail is not an axe anymore. It's just a tail with a 5mm handle on it that you can't really do anything with in the robot mode. Because if you leave it even just like plugged in, it kind of is unfortunately angled.
The idea of Tigatron walking at me, just twirling his tail in his hand, is creepy as heck.
Oh, he's just, he's got a cane. He's twirling it for style effect. Yeah. Put a pimp hat on him. It's fine.
Pink Panther recolor wet.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. I like that idea. It'll never happen, but I like that idea.
Okay, or you could do that and then say it's Laserbeak from the movie in the Beast Wars movie era. So he's assumed, he's pink and never mind.
Sure. So one really good example for the quality of life improvement, I'll grip Cheetor again. So with Cheetor, the cat legs kind of stick out really obviously on the front of the robot legs. Very streamlined on Tigatron. Like they're using that extra Voyager mass and volume and the parts count to really just like dial in what the Cheetor design was doing. So, even if you didn't like Cheetor, this is a very much more solid and pleasing experience. And consider getting one of the 2 decos of this, because there's of course the Amazon Golden Disc Collection Orange Mutant Head one coming out, which I have on pre-order, and now I'm very much more eager to get because I know that this mold is actually really nice. So I'm very happy with that, but that was not the most important thing I got this week.
Oh wow.
So once again, thanks to one of our Discord members, Vendo. So Vendo mentioned he was deciding to let go of a particular thing from his collection. And, I got to talking with him about it and, made a little deal. And I have Combiner Wars Leo Kaiser now.
Very nice.
Rad.
Congratulations.
Yes. I got a very satisfying deal on this. It came loose but complete. Vendo has the paperwork and forgot to put it in the box, but he's going to send that on separately. It's in immaculate condition. I'm very, very pleased with how this came out, and I love the colors on this in person.
It's
it is
beautiful.
so nice looking. And even with the Skylink's torso, which I like the left fieldness of this from the original design intent, but I always felt like I wish that was Leo Zach instead. But in person, again, it just kind of works really nicely.
Especially in the combined mode, you really don't notice.
No, you don't. They got the color balance really nice on that to get that effect. They even, made part of the chest black to fill in for Jugular, whatever, not being part of the team anymore either. So no, this is really nice. It's something I have really regretted not picking up when it was first available for, the 120 it originally went for. I never had access to any of the clearances I've heard people talk about on this. Somebody mentioned Think Geek had these on clearance for a while, but I
think Entertainment Earth did too.
Quite possibly. At least with the Think Geek example, I know that was, you basically had to be near a location that had it in stock. It wasn't a clearance they were doing with online available inventory. So that was a very limited accessibility thing. But yeah, I'm super happy to have this and very grateful to Vendo for making me a good deal on it.
They also did a really good job on the individual head sculpts for the limb bots.
They did. Also, the pink on Skyhawk is just offensively saturated, and I love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's all I got, and I mean it's a nice little haul of increasing importance.
Yeah. Cool. Don, go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't gotten much. Went to Ollie's, bought some ponies.
Yeah, I saw those. I was going to get them for my 5-year-old.
Yeah, it was a nice set for cheap. One thing I did pick up off topic, my last off topic, is I've been keeping an eye on this at Target. I mentioned a few weeks ago that I got that Contra, a little mini arcade tabletop Contra game. Well, I've been looking at this, and this is the Namco mini player with 20 classic games, and some of the games it includes.
Put his glasses on. So
Yeah, sorry. Dig Dug 2, which I've never played. Galaga,
Dig Dug 2
Dragons.
is the one I had as a kid. I didn't have Dig Dug as a kid.
I never knew Dig Dug 2 existed till I saw this for the first time.
Down, you dig.
I haven't had a chance to play it yet.
Okay.
Again, I got it the other day. Galaga, Galaxian, Pac-Man, Pac-Man 2, Pac-Mania, Phelios, 3 Rolling Thunders. I never could beat the first one as it was.
This isn't again one of those teeny tiny little things, is it? What is
it?
No,
it's about the size of the box. It's.
That actually looks pretty good, Don.
Yeah, the thing is, I kept scanning it with the Target scanner on the app because the Contra one went down, but it wasn't priced in the store. That was $99. About 6 months ago, it went up to $129. It was online for $69.99, and I had a $15 Target gift card. So I basically got it for about $55.
Okay, I want to go next after you. So
okay, I picked up the only other one I'm going to buy. I got my second Charticon, so I want to buy. That's all I need.
Sweet.
And thanks to Ness and Matt, I have 2 of these coming. I'm extremely lucky. Ness sent me the Tigertron, Ravage from the Covert Agent Ravage set, and I'm really appreciative of him for that. Matt picked up one for me. He'll be sending it out soon.
Jealous on
Thank you both so much for helping me out. It's just with work, there's no way I could have gotten any time to even try to get online to get that. I was only going to get one set, but this packaging is so nice. I don't want to open this. I do not want to open this box, which
looks
is
great, doesn't it?
Yeah, I have not wanted to open up a box in a very long time. And this is it, he just looks great. The guns look good. The diorama in the back looks great. It's just a very well done set from a very iconic moment in the Beast Wars. Matt said he needed to send it out to me to get it out of his house because it was a terrible, horrible thing. But you know, that's Matt.
It's love.
Accursed is the phrase.
I can't remember the phrase. So again, thank you to Ness and Matt for helping me get those. I super appreciate y'all both.
Anything else, Don?
That's all I got.
Okay, so I'm gonna do real quick. I'm gonna do an off-topic one. John's not here, so John has sort of stepped away from the regular weekly show. John's going to do more behind-the-scenes stuff. So if you don't hear John on the show on a regular basis, that's why.
Just understand he has kids.
He has kids, yeah. And
Small children, yes.
he's an executive for his company. He has a very important job. It's a challenge. So, and he's like a real executive for his company, not like, somebody says, I'm an executive for my company. John really is. Yeah, so normally I would talk to John about this, but at my local Walmart, not my old local Walmart, I moved to a different town, one town away. The Walmart there, they had the NBA Jam arcade 1-up game on clearance, but not a clearance price that I wanted to pay. It was not clearance deep enough. They didn't update the sticker, but I did notice that I walked in one day and every single one was sold. So I realized that, hey, they probably dropped the price on it and didn't tell anybody. So Kim checked the price at our local Walmart, and the sticker was like $100 off the already clearanced price. And I did some investigation in a rural Walmart that I tend to shop at. Apparently, they had the NBA Jam arcade 1-up cabinet for $100, $99.
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Kim picked it up for me. So now I have NBA Jam, and it's pretty amazing. So I'm very happy with that. I've got a couple other things. I'm only going to talk about one. Kim, whenever she goes to Dollar Tree or finds something Transformers, she always picks me up something. And I'm just very appreciative that I have a wife that looks out for me. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. The 5-year-old is just too young for kindergarten this year. So she'll be like 6 when she goes to kindergarten. Kim was like, oh yeah, I was at Dollar Tree and I found these Rescue Bots flashcards. And I'm like, oh, she's like, they're so great. And I'm like, oh, thank you. I can't believe you got them before. I'm like, no, I got them for Morgan because she, she's going to need to, know how to do all this math stuff. But this was after like 30 seconds of me just giddy, happy, that I have Transformers flashcards. And she's like, I guess I can get Morgan some flashcards of her own, and Daddy can have her flashcards right now. I'm like, give me. And I have Rescue Bots math flashcards, and I hope we can find some more because my 5-year-old needs to know how to do math. There you go.
So it was more important to you in the moment that you own a set of Rescue Bots flashcards than it was for your 5-year-old to learn math.
I didn't know that it was for her. I thought it was for me. And by the time that I realized it was for her, I'd already made a show of how happy I was that my wife got them. So she promised that she would get her some more. So hopefully we'll get a few because I'd actually like to have one to open so I can, count to 4.
Your home life is a treasure, Brian.
Thank you. Who wants to go next? There's Rob, Matt, and Diecast.
And Diecast and I have both been to TFCon.
Rob.
Yeah, let me do mine real quick because it's like one thing. I got Kingdom Warpath today, which is Amazon had it on sale for like $14, and it's not bad. It's I really loved the old generation's Warpath. It is just still one of my favorite Transformers, just in that it feels very elegant to me in how it works, and just very smooth to mess with. And this one is pretty good, and there's some things I like about it, but it is not quite that smooth. So it's just kind of one of those things. I got nothing against it, but and it, like I said, some interesting stuff going on in the transformation, but I just had such a strong like of that old Warpath that it's hard to figure out how to feel about this. I will say that just it's one of those things where I'm having a little bit of trouble getting the various tabs to line up properly to make the tank. And if I never saw tabs again in my life, I could probably be happy at this point. It just something, just fiddly little tabs on Transformers or something that I'm just really not there for anymore. And Warpath has a ton of those, but I'm not going to call him a bad toy because of that. It's just not maybe 100% to my tastes in terms of how Transformers go at this point.
I remember liking Kingdom Warpath, but the tabs are
Unfortunate.
Much. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a decent little toy, especially for $14. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else I got this week before I pass it off. But I got a new flip phone, and
Sweet.
and that's matter of fact, everybody in the house got a new flip phone. I was
awesome.
Struggling to activate those during last week's show, but they're finally working now, so they count. And beyond that, no, I think that's about it. So
cool.
Call it there.
Okay, so since Matt's taste in toys more aligns with mine, I think, than Diecast's, I want Matt to go next.
Okay. I was actually, well, we'll start off with, I got my late birthday present from Brian. I got the Kingdom Road Rage.
Sweet.
Thank you, Brian.
Sweet.
I 100% wanted this just because of the Diaclone Red reference. Like that's all it needed to be for me. But okay, so I behaved myself rather well at TFCon this time.
You didn't pull a Brian from the last TFCon I went to.
No, in a stunning first, I actually brought back most of the money I took with me.
Wow.
Wow.
So like I had said earlier, there was a lot of open space in the dealer room, social distancing and stuff like that. And there were just a couple of vendors that didn't make it. Unfortunately, that meant a lot of the stuff in the dealer room was newer stuff. There was I saw a lot of like 2013 generations and a lot of Siege, Earthrise, Kingdom stuff. So not stuff I needed. I walked around for 2 days. I made many trips around that dealer room. I'm not that big on third party. I had most of the official stuff already. But I did manage to find a couple of things. I got the Universe
Nice
Ruination.
Yes.
How much did you pay?
The camo colors that I have been craving for years. I paid more than I wanted to.
Okay.
But I've been looking at this for a couple of years, and every time the price is higher.
Yeah, I ended up getting a loose set, not a box set. That's beautiful.
It is, Matt.
This box has seen better days, and I've already taken it out once because the gummy rubber bands they'd put on there had dried and cracked. So I cleaned all that stuff out of the box.
Yeah. So here's hoping Ocular Max doesn't do those in that color for their Combaticons.
I'll suggest that next time I see them. I stopped and bought the traditional Bobby Skullface blanket. It's a Soundwave print with all of his cassettes surrounding him. I stopped by Grimlock Optimus's table because he brought many, 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 many customs with him. He had like a document of like 2 pages of stuff.
Nice.
He had with him. I only got one, but it was important to me. I got the Diaclone colored Ironhide or
Oh, hell yeah.
Shattered Glass, if you
All
will.
right.
Yeah, I was working on my own, but this is far better than anything I could have done. His work is to be treasured. Like, God, he just does good work.
Oh yeah.
If I had not depleted myself on a Leo Kaiser, I had been considering asking you to try to grab me one of his corrected Beast Wars Grimlocks because his work is worth it.
That may have been possible. I think he still had one.
Yep. One or two. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, he brought a lot of stuff and he sold a lot of stuff, but he had a couple hanging around towards the end of the show.
I think he made 4 to start with, but by the time he was leaving, the last picture he tweeted, they were all gone by that point. But yeah, I think there would have been ample opportunity if I had been able to make that work. Because again, I would love to own a piece of his work, and that would have been worth it. But Leo Kaiser.
I did stop by Josh Bertram's table and bought an art print. I don't have right here handy, but it's a lovely Springer standing amongst a cemetery of fallen wreckers. Something nice and cheery.
Sad.
I got a poster from I spend a lot of time with Aaron from the APOD Bcast at these things. Like, we can generally be found at the bar. He gave me a lovely poster that they designed themselves. They're
Cool.
A couple of them are actually rather good artists. It's a cup recruitment poster. So I have that.
They seem like really cool
and
guys.
They are. Yeah, Aaron and I generally close out the bar pretty much.
That is
every
awesome.
night. Yeah. Yeah, great guys. And a Studio Series 86 and all. I got this from our friend Optrod.
Oh, cool.
From, Dan. Yeah. He's kind of fallen off the face of the earth almost, it seems.
He was at the last
past couple
TFCon,
years.
wasn't he?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, the last one.
Yeah,
That I went to, Or the last
yeah.
one at all, because they put last year's off. Yeah.
Yeah. He hasn't been around much for anything, for podcast, Discord, Hangouts, anything like that, because I mean, he's just tied up at work, but got to spend a good amount of time, talking with him, and he had this. He also had a road rage, but I didn't need that because thank you, Brian. So, and yeah, that's my entire TFCon haul.
Oh, cool. Okay, diecast.
Okay. First, I'll start off with the shirt from my friend Mike Kincaid.
That is a pretty
And
awesome name, Mike Kincaid.
You can't see me.
It's a John Cena reference.
So I knew you would like that, Brian. I think
I took a picture today for a John Cena joke, in fact, that I forgot to post. So that reminded me.
Yeah.
Expect a John Cena joke on Twitter in about 30 seconds.
I got the MechFans Toys black and red repaint of Six Shot
This is when I zone out.
because I got good old Crimson Wings.
Who makes
Which
that
you-
one?
Deformation.
No,
No.
that's Crimson Wings. Is he called Crimson Wings, or it's DS-01? I don't know who makes it. Somebody made it.
Well, I would hope. I mean,
Or Key's gone into the toy business and he just snaps them up.
well, then
what I'm
Q would be the
seeing-
manufacturer.
According to what I'm seeing on Google, it is a deformation space figure.
Thank you.
And also a Legend Scale Null.
Is it an official or a KO? Do you know?
I think it's an official.
Yeah,
It's
the
in the
KOs
package, I
are
mean,
so good. It's I don't know.
yeah. I was actually very underwhelmed by this. The not Shadow Panther, Covert
Ravage.
Agent Ravage, Decepticons Forever Ravage. for the price, it is a voyage or a I'm sorry, deluxe, and it is significantly remolded from what I can see. And then of course you got the G1 tape, which I think lured me in more than anything. But it doesn't even come like with like a plastic cassette holder. There's just this little cardboard board door in the background of this set, and it's just I was very underwhelmed by it when I opened it up. It's not.
I think you've
blasphemy.
broken Don's spirit,
Yeah,
diecast.
yeah. Well, I mean,
It's amazing.
I don't think it's a very good
Have you watched the agenda? Do you not
Comic-Con.
get,
You know,
do you not get why that set looks like that?
I don't care. It's not even. Good.
I'm too tired to mentally trade barbs tonight.
Don, you have to remember, diecast doesn't have a soul.
Yep.
I picked up this at Ollie's. It's the Starscream.
Wait, was that your TFCon haul?
What's that?
Are you done with your TFCon haul?
No.
He bought
I'm
this
pulling
on
out
his
of
way
the
to
bag.
TFCon.
Oh,
Yeah, this was on the way to TFCon. This will probably go in Toys for Tots.
Starscream
Thank you
literally
very much
used that
for
armor
helping
for
out.
like 5 minutes or
Toys for
less in the
Tots.
show.
And a legend scale and all.
Oh, you're doing the math thing.
Today from Amazon, I got a Shadow Panther. That's why I also had Shadow Panther in my brain.
To be honest, sometimes I forget that Ravage and Shadow Panther are separate things in this context too.
I've got a Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus trailer.
Was that like
That's a
Goodwill?
weird thing to have by itself.
Yeah,
Not if you have the perfect effect Ultra Magnus, it's not.
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah.
which I do. So, but this was a TFCon haul. This was $5. So and
That's a weird thing to be selling by itself.
Selling on its own, yes.
it was in one of those, piles of junk.
Yeah, but what happened to the other half of it?
I'm not sure.
I keep wanting to buy the black version of that to go with my skateboard prime. I just never got around
Good
to
luck.
it.
I don't think it's been in production for quite a long time now.
I know.
This was the exclusive, the black New Age Megatron. So
I like the packaging.
yeah,
Very
Yeah.
cool.
so I got
It's a
that.
good little
Good,
toy too.
Yeah. Good take on the microchange packaging there.
And now we get into some of the Chrome Tyranno customs that I got.
Oh boy.
Plural. Notice
Nice.
he used plural.
Hey, if he's
Yes.
gonna drop a ton of money somewhere, let him give it to one of the fandom's artisans.
This is a Rhinox in that I guess you would say
Oh, it's Legacy Rhinox.
Yeah, Dawn
Yeah.
of Futures Past. Dawn of Futures
ratchet
Past.
mold slash which this mold, I just really like this mold. So it was nice to have something else to go with my diecast custom.
That's
and
the Siege Ironhide mold, right?
yeah, Siege Ironhide.
With the Siege Impactor head.
Yes.
That would probably look good with the Dawn of Futures Past spot concept.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, looks really nice. This was the one I bought first. And then I guess I should do them in order. So I'm going to put this other one down right now.
It's story time, apparently.
I went back to the table and
He made the mistake of not going back alone.
this Optimus Prime or Optimus
There may ha-
Primal.
There may have been some encouragement.
Yeah,
Good.
I originally saw first thing in the morning and I was drawn to it. I just really liked the color. Of course, it's a Titan Master mold, which I
Oh,
love.
it's Ape Face.
It's Ape Face. Yeah.
Nice.
And it just looks really nice in this black and white color scheme. Like it's beautiful. And it still happened to be there at, when Matt and I went back to the table, and Matt was like, you should get it. You should.
What
you
would
should
something
get
like
it."
that cost?
I did the die cast what I usually do to Brian or
Yeah.
Blade Raider in a dealer room, basically.
And then he gave me a deal because he gave me Rodimus. Is it Rodimus Minor or is it
Yeah.
just Minor?
Optimus Minor.
Optimus Minor.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, you can have Optimus Minor to go with that."
That is
Um,
amazing.
Yeah.
Is that from the Combiner Wars Streetwise mold?
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
So
Very
like,
nice.
Like I don't know like what somebody would pay for something like that. So what would like a
I saw
Voyager-
his price list, like for the quality of work he does and the like extent of the customizing. Grimlockmus's prices are like super reasonable. The Beast Wars Dinobot repaint I was referencing earlier, I think he had priced at like $75.
Oh, much
Dang.
less than I
And-
expected.
He paid less than that for that Optimus,
Holy crap.
and that is part of that. That's the 8-face mold with parts from the Power of the Primes Optimus Primal
I should start buying
and custom
stuff like
paint
that.
work. And custom paint work.
Wow.
And it's
Yeah.
good
Beautiful.
custom
It's
paint work.
beautiful.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
seeing that Titan 8 face, I think that might make a good optimal Optimus. At least 3 of his modes, anyway.
Well, Don, so they did that with, I think Convobat came with the little 8-face Titan Master vehicle in the optimal Optimus colors.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I forgot.
So,
I forgot
like-
about that.
Yeah, so they basically already started down that path, and like, yeah, I think you're right. That would look good on the Titan Return mold.
So again, Discord, tfradio.net/Discord, Blade is like Optimus Minor is underrated, and I'm like, Optimus Minor is no laughing matter. That's
And then
part of this. Yeah.
to finish off my Beast Wars custom figures, I got a little pack rat,
Nice.
Cool.
Very nice.
which is also from Grimlockamus.
Diecast, this is a really great haul, actually. I'm not going to lie. I think you did really well
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody can just like buy a pile of third-party toys. These are very special, unique things that you got
Yeah.
from
This
a one-time
Yeah.
experience.
This is
I
up
got a
to-
Soundwave shirt.
nice. This is up there with my haul from the last TFCon. But I did get that Metro Titan that I'd been wanting for 25 years.
I got the upgrade kit for Scorponok, which gives him new legs to make him taller. It'll put
Does
him,
he need to be taller?
I didn't think so, but
Yeah, he's a little bit shorter than Fortress Maximus.
Okay, I
Um,
guess.
So this will put him up to Fortress Maximus height. So
yes, it's entirely new legs.
yeah.
That's an
Yeah, we
upgrade
opened
kit.
the box and I was like, wow, it there's a lot of screws I have to,
I just
undo and
I just stopped myself from making a Lieutenant Dan joke.
Yeah, I've done the same.
I got the rung, which honestly it's not for me. I opened it, I didn't even transform it. I just kind of fiddled with it for a little bit and I was like, yeah, this really isn't for me. So hopefully someone wants this. I'm gonna put it on Twitter or something, I'm not looking to make any money on it. I'm just looking to
Get your 125 back out of it.
yeah. It's not for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's a part of me that saw that and was like, ooh, that looks cool. But I know, like, I do this a lot where, like, look at a third-party toy and think that looks cool, but then I remember, I've gotten a few of these in hand, and it's just like they've gone from my hands about as fast as you're trying to turn that one around. It's just like, oh, that looks so good. I wish I could like that.
That was like the Athena for me, the Minerva.
Oh yeah, that's exactly because I got the MMC Impactor back in like 2017 or
Ooh, that was a
thereabouts.
Oh,
nice
yeah.
figure.
Yeah, it was. It was really well made, well designed, but like just
Something's off about it.
the feel of it and the process with it just did not click for me.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
eventually got sold, and I think I bought this computer monitor with the money.
Nice.
So bargain hunt.
What else, Diecast? I'm about to fall asleep.
So I got
Oh wow, we are running long.
2 scrap faces.
From Walmart.com?
Not from
pre-order?
Walmart.com, from TFCon, because my Walmart.com order is still saying processing.
Mm.
It's been a year and a half, and I maybe almost 2 years. It'll be almost 2 years in February. So I finally can complete my scrap face camera, because these were the two I was missing to do that.
Oh, yeah, because you got the first one given to you by Hasbro, didn't you? Or you like traded
in my-
Miguel for it?
Yeah, in the grab bag.
Yeah.
So yeah, so now I can have my scrap face camera, because I instantly ordered two on Walmart.com when they went up, because I was like, oh, that way I can build the whole camera, and they just never came.
Cool.
So Brian's getting cranky because it's past his bedtime. What else you got?
Pretty much.
And I got a Legends Gnaw.
Okay, cool. What else?
Ah, good.
I think that's it.
Okay, tfradio.net/Amazon. Buy something and help us out. Want to thank our patrons on Patreon at patreon.com/tfradio. As we do every week, we thank our patrons at the Touch tier, who are listed at tfradio.net/credits. We're going to do that quickly but respectfully. So, Kevin Dorsey, Ryan Bona, Emmett Stresovich, Rabbits, Hector Bones, Ness, Joey Russell, Jason Hiley, Mike Mallory, Jay Rye, Sean Hamilton, Jacob Owen Lucia, Boomer, Spider Bob, Frank, black and white now in color, Nate Wilson, Cybertron Toys, Tyrell Gwynn, Paul Schreiber, and Sterling. Thank you all so much. All the folks here are eligible to be on our History on the Fives podcast, hosted by Rob, and that is posted each week, where Rob looks back in history of Transformers in the way Rob describes it, which is so perfect, in 5-year jumps. It's so much more elegant than me trying to fumble around and describe it for over a year and a half. So, Rob, great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've it's been fun. This last week it was just me, Spider Bob, and Sean. So that
Oh, it's old school. Yeah, sweet.
Yeah. They said that, like, the first one you had them on, it was just 3 people, so
Yeah.
it was appropriate.
Yeah, perfect. The I'm going to be posting a new episode of the Throwback Podcast here in a few days, and something I'm actually going to post for Patreon. Back in March, we had a live stream that did not get. It was going to be reposted for patrons, but ended up getting lost in the mail. But I've recovered it, and it is going to get posted. It's over 3 hours of content.
Was that our not Toy Fair?
It was
thing
the
we
Not
did?
Toy Fair live stream.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Anthony, Timey, other folks were there. Triplet was there. Spider Bob was there. Sean was there. It was a good old time. So it's appropriately edited now, and
Oh, good.
I had to edit a part out, and I'll post it probably in early November.
Was it Diecast's fault?
No, yes. So patreon.com/tfradio.
I don't think I was on that one.
Yeah, you were.
I was?
Yeah, you definitely were. You know, the funny thing is, the thing I needed to edit out.
You may
edit out
not
was
be
only-
any longer,
Yeah.
but you were.
The thing I needed to edit out was only 9 minutes in. I could have got that edited out 6 months ago, but I didn't.
I think at the time you were just irritated because it happened, and that probably pushed it down your list a little bit.
Oh yeah, there's something else I probably need to edit out a pre-show this week as well. Now that I think of it.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. So okay. So with that said, you can find us everywhere. TFRadio.net. We're on YouTube, Twitter at TFRadio, Instagram TF Podcast, Facebook.com/TFRadio. We're everywhere. I'm at B Kilby on Twitter and at BrianKilby.com. I'm working on my Christmas album for this year. Can't wait. I expect to have it posted at the end of November. And Chris, how do people get a hold of you?
I'm personally on Twitter at ChrisRTXV. I can't think of anything notable I've done there in the last little while, but you never know. So give me a follow anyway if you want to. For toy photography related stuff, I'm on Twitter at PlayWithPhotos. I was just tweeting from that account the other day about a new breakthrough I've made in my unending quest to obsessive compulsively, self-harmfully color correct my photos.
I saw that.
I mean, it's given me a feeling of optimism in this that I have not had for literally months now, and hopefully I can kind of roll some of that momentum forward and actually like do something with that besides clicking point on a color wheel. So we'll see how that goes. For a collection of my works of clicking color wheels and taking pictures of toys sometimes, that's all at playwithphotography.com. And if you want to help support the work I do, you can kick in for as little as $2 per month on Patreon at patreon.com/playwithphotos. I also have an Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/chrislist if you want to just do like unrelated random acts of kindness at me. And I think that's everything.
Cool. Don.
I can be reached on Twitter at HMRC4 EVR.
Diecast.
You can follow me on Twitter at Diecast2. You can like my Facebook page at Reviews by Diecast, and you can see my reviews at tfradio.net/reviews.
Cool. Rob.
You can find me on Twitter at Rob Flails, which is the Twitter for Flail Throughs, my YouTube channel. I mostly cover Gundam gaming. Gundam Battle Operation 2 is my main thing. That's getting a big update tonight at 1 a.m. They are finally adding the other half of the Double Zeta Gundam, functionally speaking. And also the Halloween update, which will involve a small free space tank for everyone. And if you also G-Generation Genesis, I am keeping up with. That is a Gundam strategy game that covers most of the Universal Century, and I am having fun with that. Tune in this weekend to hear me cackle like a fool as I send a flying office building at a tiny little gun tank. But
it's okay. I did the same cackle the first time I did that in the game too.
But yeah, just some of the units in that are just absolutely enormous, and it's hilarious to see them just take on standard small, quote unquote small mobile suits that are only about 50 feet tall. So yeah, but yeah, if you like what I'm doing over there, patreon.com/flailthroughs, you can request specific units in any of the games that I am currently playing. And if you would just rather do me a nice for some reason, there is tfradio.net/playlist.
Cool. Let's see here. John's not here again. That John D everywhere. Rob Springer not here at Rob Springer on Twitter and zonebase.org. And this is a special double-sized edition of Radio Free Cybertron. So we'll see you next week. Okay, done recording there. Done recording here. Stopping there.
Yeah, we did make
Recording
it just about 2 hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had two things working against us, which was that this was the post TFCon show and the post PulseCon show, and we actually talked about PulseCon stuff. So, beyond the capacity of what did we buy.
Yeah.
Imagine if we talked about the 1027 stuff.
We did a little bit.
I mean, we talked about what there was to talk about. Honestly,
Yeah.
That may have been when I dropped from the call.
I thought the 1027 stuff was just going to be the Ghostbuster pack. I had no idea they were doing anything else.
Yeah,
I
they
think
turned that
it
into an
wasn't.
hour and a half stream.
Yeah.
So I think like yesterday they replied to a comment on what looked like either Instagram or Facebook that there would be multiple brands involved. But before that, nobody really had a frame of reference for what to expect. I think a lot of people did think it was just going to be the Ghostbusters HasLab because I think PulseCon last year they had that Thursday preview stream that they were calling it, but that was just a commercial for their Hero Quest HasLab.
Yeah.
So I think people were thinking it was going to be something like that again until
I did like how they unveiled the Ghostbusters HasLab though.
Jason Reitman on the PulseCon or something different. I didn't watch it today. I was busy.
They did a parody of from the 1984 movie The Ghostbusters, the commercial that they filmed.
Oh, we're ready to believe you.
Yes.
Hey, people watching live, Don's about to crash. I'm about to crash. No joke. So we'll see you next week.
I need to go to
good night,
bed, yeah.
everybody. Thanks for hanging with us.
Okay, so by YouTube.